Hey everybody, happy Monday. So good to be here. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to the moderators and everybody out there in the chat. I want to apologize for yesterday. I thought yesterday was Saturday. I work every day of the week, so sometimes I don't know what day it is, so apologies for that. But I always know when it's Monday morning because that's when the stock market opens. So let's jump in. I'm going to talk about a topic today that could be, in some eyes, a little bit controversial, but bear with me as I get through this story. As you guys know, I like to do things like follow the money and look what the smart money does, etc. Learned that a lot, spending a lot of time in Silicon Valley for nearly a quarter of a century. Spent a lot of time on Sand Hill Road with people called VCs. Now, again, to reiterate, people in crypto think VCs are evil because that's what YouTubers tell them to think. But I'm going to give you another side of the story today and explain why it's important to know who is behind certain ventures and why there was only be one immaculate conception, that being Bitcoin. So again, the story is about Bitcoin, money flow, investments, Bloomberg and Bitcoin, a little bit of Lynn Alden, talk a little bit about debt. We'll talk about the insane money coming into the market. I like to look at numbers, calculate numbers, roll up numbers, and everything else.
This might answer your question.
Oh, sorry.
4901. It is 02. 07,
no idea.
2022.
Go away. Sorry about that. Would you believe I've got a sound bar under a big TV over there, and it has bloody Alexa or something tied into it. Anyway, sorry about that. Live TV. So I'm back, but
no problem.
Oh, go away. How do I? Anyway. I'm all distracted. But let's just jump into the story and jump in. So we're going to talk about Bitcoin. All right. So traders, this is from Santiment. I thought this was pretty cool. A big thank you to Sanjay for sending it to me. It's from Santiment Feed. And for those who are worried about the Bitcoin rally ending soon, this is a sign that it won't. And it's the exchange funding rates dropping negative. Traders are still shorting Bitcoin and expecting Bitcoin to fall. Generally, when shorts expect Bitcoin to fall, price goes higher. We did talk about the short squeeze last week, and some of that's still in play. People are just like, oh my God, was it 24th of January? Same time I got into a huge synthetic long on MicroStrategy, which was the bottom of MicroStrategy and the bottom of Bitcoin, coincidentally. People are still expecting that 29K, 20K Bitcoin. It's not going to happen. So this was from Sentiment I thought was funny. But it's not all good news. Lynn Alden came out, and she is a macro strategist, and she loves Bitcoin. But she said she's not particularly bullish on Bitcoin in 2022. And she warns that Bitcoin is susceptible to a capitulation event. That means a big, oh my God, sky is falling, everybody sell, get out, etc. Now, long-term, 3 to 5 years, she believes it is structurally very sound, but believes Bitcoin could fall under 30K again. So she's one of those people that believes we could tank again. Let's see another point of view. Now, this is the problem with this world. You get different points of view, and that's why I like to blaze my own trail and come up with my own decisions. This is from Bloomberg. Mike McGlone, who I trust a lot, and he says Bitcoin is more likely forming a floor than a ceiling, which means range riders accustomed to $30,000 to $60,000 may be disappointed. Since the start of 2021, if you look at the chart here, you will see a more tactically oriented opportunities near the lower end, and that happened twice, and you could sell at the upper end twice. So again, visually, I put in a couple of arrows in this chart so you get a feel. The lower band is the green. The blue band in the middle is I think it's the 50-week moving average. The 52-week moving average, not 50, sorry. And then you've got the upper bound, the red band. So you can see when we dip into the green, the lower band, that's a great spot to buy. And we did that in March 2020. And we did it again on the 24th of January. So here we go. Notice as well that during the summer, we didn't hit that level. So it never hit that green band until now. And this is what Bloomberg are looking at. And they believe being about 30% under that 52-week moving average has proven to be a great level of support historically. And Bitcoin revisited here since the first time since the 2020 trough. And they believe we're going to range up to $100,000 this year. So very bullish from Bloomberg. So we'll see. Technically it's possible for Bitcoin to go up to 100,000 and back to 30. Unlikely, but possible. But anyway, just another point of view. So let's talk about some of the other great news. KPMG, many of you have heard about this today, is buzzing all around the interwebs. KPMG Canada, let me pop this up, announced it has directly invested in Bitcoin and Ethereum, the two largest cryptocurrencies by market cap, which you all know. Now, the move is the latest among a growing trend, obviously, of institutional players adding crypto to their balance sheet. Like the big guys, like Tesla, Square, MicroStrategy, a couple of miners, etc. This is huge, though, because KPMG is an accounting firm. Again, it's like an insurance company, ultra conservative. If they're sticking this on their balance sheet, it's a very good sign. And it means they're not worried about the accounting nuances that MicroStrategy faces of write-downs, and Tesla faces too. We'll talk more about that in a minute. So extremely bullish for the asset, especially with that name recognition. Now, oh, by the way, just so people know, these guys do the books of many businesses. talk about a signal. Okay, I'm your accounting firm and I just put Bitcoin on my balance sheet. What are you going to do? So I just thought that was very interesting. Back to sentiment. Let's talk about where we are so far over the last 7 days. This is the list of the top 20% plus gainers over the last 7 days. It's a bit of an eye chart, a little bit fuzzy. Apologies for that. But anyway, just to pull out the top names: Tezos up 30%, Decentraland 29%, Quant 36%, Ucash, never heard of Ucash, 36%, Arweave and Nexo 23%, Maker 21%, and Solana 20%. They are all kind of the top gainers of crypto over the last 7 days, which is pretty impressive. A nice mix of metaverse and a couple of layer ones and a couple of names I never even heard of. So interesting to see that the money is going to perhaps winning metaverse plays and layer ones as we go forward. So let's talk about Bitcoin mining ETF approval. This is cool. It's kind of funny for a couple of reasons. But per a filing today, they had just got approval to create Valkyrie, an ETF-linked Bitcoin mining firm fund. Now, 80% of their net assets must be part miners, and 20% can be companies that hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Guess who they're going to buy? MicroStrategy, of course. We know that. And MicroStrategy's up $90 since the bottom. That's done very well, so I don't know if they're already buying, but that was a big feather on the cap. And what's really funny about this ETF is the ticker. I thought it was really funny. This is from Bitcoin Magazine. Valkyrie's Bitcoin Miners ETF is called WGMI, WGMI, and I must admit I didn't know what WGMI was in early December 2021, but it means we're going to make it. And this is a very big optimistic crypto hashtag amongst the crypto and NFT communities. So WGMI, great fun ticker, easy to remember. Now let's talk about, again, Bitcoin strategy and Tesla, because we hit on it a little bit earlier. Tesla's dabbling in Bitcoin had earned it a net profit of about 27 million, but due to the quirky accounting rules that exist surrounding markdowns and all that type of stuff, which MicroStrategy has a problem with right now, Tesla makes it very clear in their 10K that the fair value of Bitcoin was worth $2 billion as of December 31st, which means the company's Bitcoin position is up over $500 million, $500 million bucks, since they bought it in March, not 9 months earlier. So people are now learning how to read through the quirky accounting, the impairment loss rules, and understand that, yeah, it's a stupid accounting rule. It's a write-down. But look at the value on the balance sheet. You know, half a billion dollars is not to be sniffed at. Anyway, that's the Tesla news and the write-down news. Now, a little bit of ARK news so far. Big thank you again to Sanjay for sending it to me. This is kind of a visual, another eye chart. I wish they made things a little more legible, but obviously they don't. But ARK has also been clobbered not only hard in 2021, but also down 10% so far on average in 2022. In fact, some names even more. Per this chart, green is technology, that kind of light green. You can see the big bubbles that are hit hard. Names like Roblox, Shopify, Palantir hit extra hard. Red is healthcare. They were also hit hard, but the smaller positions. And of course, even Tesla's down 10%. So we started off bumpy, but February looks to be a little bit better. And part of it is because of all of the lack of, where we're going direction from the Fed around interest rates as we go forward. So watch that. Now, for those football fans, this weekend coming Sunday is Super Bowl. I don't know what time it starts, but I'll make sure I stream before with the weekly Q&A. But they are giving away Bitcoin. So FTX, obviously my favorite exchange. And there's a link down below for 10% off fees if you want it. We donate all proceeds to charity. But how much are they going to give away? We're not sure. 1 million, 1.5 million. They're talking about between at least 8 and 9 Bitcoin. And the amount that they give away will be a function of the time that they run their ad at. For example, if it's 9:02 EST, then they'll give away 9.02 Bitcoin, something like that on the webpage. So enroll and win. Who knows? Maybe I hope they give a lot of Bitcoin away to a lot of people. And that would be fantastic for the world. Now, this is the story today that we're going to get into. Sorry for the big, long thing. A lot of people believe it takes money to make money. Some people don't believe that, like Robert Kiyosaki believes it doesn't. But if that's the case, he bought all his real estate from money he made from a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He wouldn't have all his real estate or his silver if he didn't write the book to make money. So Robert, check yourself. Now, top 100 VCs. Some of these names, I won't go into detail on all of them, but they are big names. A16Z, it's Andreessen Horowitz. You got names like Block this, Block that, etc. There's so many blocks. You got BlockX and BRC and Algo. Coinbase has a fund. Tons and tons of really big funds. And that's what we're going to talk about today is, does it matter? So let's talk about January. And the reason that triggered this whole story today is this was from the Block Crypto. So if you hate VCs, you're going to hate crypto because these guys are pumping a ton of money into the space. Nearly $5 billion in investments in just January alone. Staggering. We saw huge investments. Several new funds were launched, including FTX and Pantera Capital and A16Z. FTX had set up a $2.5 billion fund. A16Z had to beat them. A week later, they announced a $4.5 billion fund. Then you have Phantom raising $105 million for their wallets, now $1.2 billion unicorn for just a wallet in the Solana ecosystem. You got the Graph raising $50 million, FTX $400 million, FTX US another $400 million, Near Protocol $150 million, etc. Money is coming in big. I've kind of totted up all of the VC money that's gone into the space over the last 3 years. And I think it's worth about between a quarter and a third of the entire crypto market cap. Think about that. Smartest money in the world is pumping money into crypto. They've funded nearly a third of the total $2 trillion in crypto market cap in already. Now, they wouldn't do this. They're not interested in a 3x. They want 10x to 100x on their money. That's how they play the game. So if they're pumping, call it half $1 trillion into a space, they want a lot more money back. That's how big this space is going to get, everybody. That's why you need to follow the money. Look at the people that are pumping money in. Look what they're investing in. Find out why they're investing in. Check out the management companies of the tokens that they're investing in. And there you have your answer. That's a big part of the game for research. Now, let's look at some of the some names funded by VCs. This is from Masari. Source, you can see Terra, 56% insiders and VCs. Avalanche, 42% insiders and VCs. Binance, 50%. Solana, 48%. Polkadot, 33%. Phantom, 53%. Celo, 44%. Flow, 58%. Near, 38%. And ICP, 39%. Just to put things in perspective, put together a little table with this data, you can see the average amount invested is about 46% across all of these different firms. And this is by no means comprehensive, but these are just some of the names that have a lot of brand recognition. And it's important to know as well. Also, the ones that I own or did own, in full disclosure, obviously Luna, Phantom, Solana, and Polkadot. The ones I owned in the past but sold, BNB and Avalanche. So that's kind of the quick situation. But let's look at a chart here of how VC token performance runs. Now, remember, not everything went up last year. There are many names that stayed flat for the entire year. If we look at some of the VC performance names of how they all compared, not all names that are backed by VCs like Algorand, etc., did they do very well. So if we look here, Solana won the game, up 1,200%, Phantom 840%, Near Protocol 319%. Much of those gains for Near have happened recently. Then we have BNB up 43%. Again, I got rid of it in the summer and I stuck that money into Solana, which proved to be a very good swap, or swing as I call it. And the rest did not make it. Polkadot down 5%, Celo down 7%, Flow down 69%, and ICP crushing it, down 98% in a year. Whoa! So remember, because a VC or a bunch of VC firms are behind something, it doesn't mean it's going to win. But make sure you find the winning VC firms. And love them or hate them, A16Z is a very, very good name that is behind top names, not the bad names. So let's talk about what else has just happened today. Polygon, MATIC raised a massive $450 million VC round. This is huge. Think about it. $500 million treasure chest. Tells me a few things. First of all, MATIC is the layer 2 scaling solution for Ethereum. And that is a massive amount of money to raise. They pulled it in from, again, names like Sequoia, Silicon Valley firm, their Indian operation, SoftBank, Galaxy Digital, Tiger, Republic Global. I think, what's his name? The guy on TV show, billionaire Kevin O'Leary, also participated in the raise. So that is big. But why? Why? It's a layer 2 scaling solution. Hang on. But isn't Ethereum 2 coming and isn't going to solve scalability? Let's go. But before we do that, let's look at what happened before. The whales feasted ahead of the news. And this is a tweet from Whale Stats. Just in, MATIC Polygon flipped Link to be the most traded token by the 1,000 biggest Ethereum wallets. So, obviously, the Ethereum whales get wind of this and they buy it in advance. And you saw a huge spike in MATIC over the last 48 hours. So that's because of this news. We didn't know about it. I hold MATIC because I believe it's needed, especially with the ZK stuff coming in 2022, to help Ethereum survive. Now, remember as well, it's very important, 76% of all MATIC is owned by 11 whales. Talk about a concentration, it's insane. But that's not uncommon amongst some of the names as well. But just remember, when you're investing, these people could dump on you anytime. And this concentration is far bigger than many other names that I've analyzed. Now, getting back to more interesting stuff, Ethereum 2.0 and MATIC. Why does it matter? This is from Sandeep Nalwal. He is the CEO and founder of Polygon. And also, he just said, even if Ethereum 2 comes in here, his words, that will not provide enough scalability. In 2022, the proof of stake upgrade will keep everything the same. Ethereum has 13 TPS right now, 13 transactions per second. Cardano, 1 transaction per second. Maybe Ethereum 2.0 will go to 20 transactions per second after proof of stake, but not more than that. So it does not add anything to scalability. And that's what we've been talking about for a long time. ETH2 is not going to turn into a Solana, not by no stretch of the imagination. But just think about that. Maybe we'll go from 13, add 50% speed, but let's talk about speed for a second. Speed, sometimes to some people, doesn't matter, but the truth is it does. If you want to run global blockchain to run things like stock markets, you need speed. Now, the Solana stuff obviously is running at 1 TPS today, and they believe it's going to go to 2 million transactions per second by September 2022. In fact, Coin Bureau mentioned this today in a video too. This was a release from Input Output Global, which is IOHK, which is the development arm behind Cardano that Charles is the CEO of. And they believe Cardano will handle up to 2 million TPS with Hydra as the second layer for the Cardano network. Now, I don't want to rain anybody's parade. I've never seen a chain go up 100x, ever, in terms of speed. These guys expected to go up 2 million x by September. if I was a gambling man, which I am, would I be willing to take bets that it's not going to happen? Yes, I would. So don't pin your hopes to this. That is a big, big, big change in speed. 1 TPS to 2 million TPS is massive. So we'll see what happens, but we'll monitor it very carefully, and we have our fingers on the pulse of what the devs are doing in Hydra and everything else. I just want to share that with you all. Now, related to this as well, Polkadot boosted their development fund to 21 million by allocating 993,000 DOT to boost its ecosystem Web3 development. Again, the message here is to build something, it does take money. Devs need to be paid, they need to be funded, and this all requires a lot of money. Like it or not, it's not something organic that has a beautiful conception like Bitcoin and just is anonymous and fully decentralized. That doesn't happen anymore. It's a one-off, like I mentioned at the very beginning, but it takes money to make money. And that's what I want you all to be aware of. Don't be scared if there's a VC behind a certain name, or if a VC pumps $450 million into Polygon. That shows you they believe there's a lot of value behind it. And that shows you that they believe it's not just for 3 months or 6 months. They believe Polygon is very much required to keep Ethereum alive going forward. So watch this space carefully. Now, switching gears to stablecoins. In other news, just this from the NY Fed believes stablecoins are not the future of payments. Uh-oh, why not? This is just days after a team from the US Central Bank published a lengthy analysis of frameworks for regulating stablecoin deposits. A separate research group penned a paper laying out reasons why stablecoins aren't going to be the future of payments. And, this is too funny, same day, meanwhile in Japan, Mitsubishi UFJ Trust and Banking, the banking arm of Japan's largest financial institution, has announced plans to launch a yen-peg stablecoin. Okay, so Japan is saying yes, US Fed no. I wonder where the truth lies. So I do believe a stablecoin like a UST or something could be the foundation of all chains going forward. Now, final note as well. Does debt matter? This was super interesting. Just to talk a bit about macro perspective, this is on a Seeking Alpha. Thank you, Sanjay, as well for sending from Lynn Alden. Twice in one day. So this chart actually is from the Congressional Budget Office. And I just thought it was a beautiful example of stuff I've been talking about. I spoke a long time about the fact that once debt to GDP flips above 77%, you can't dig yourself out of the hole. This chart here just looks at deficits. It looks at total deficits and the increase in deficit and the amount that is interest. Now, the reason I mention this is you can see the interest keeps on growing because the debt keeps on growing. You can't get back to zero. No matter how much austerity or whatever else, you can't. That's way beyond that. And the point I'm trying to make it, everybody's worried about interest rates, 50 basis points, 75 basis points, 25 basis points in March. The more they jack the interest rates, the more they increase the deficit and the more they slow GDP. This is why they're boxed in. This is why I believe, as long as many others, that they have to keep on printing money. So with that, I hope you like it. And that's the story for today. We switch camera and see if we have any questions. I don't know if we're taking questions today, but yes, we have a couple of questions. So big thank you all for being here. And thank you for these questions, these donations. We love sponsoring animals. So everything goes, of course, to donation. So Dushi Mahesh, how are you, my friend? What would it take for Solana to become deflationary? Well, I've been tracking very carefully the Solana inflation right now. It went from 10.12% early December to 9.96% January 1st. Now it's about 9.6%. So it's not going to be deflationary for a long time, but technically, what people don't realize is part of the burn for every transaction is a deflationary element. And the deflation is coming down real fast. Again, 10.2% to 9.6% in 8 weeks, pretty staggering. So it is coming down. And remember, of all the other names, Solana has actually one of the lowest inflations. That's one of the reasons, also one of the top 20 reasons why we like it. It's not like other names that are printing 33%, 50%, or dumping 2 million tokens a month on the market, which will remain nameless, but it's very important to look at that. Just think about a token that's dumping 2 million tokens on the market every month. You need, imagine the price is $20. 2 million times 20, that's how many new buyers you need every month just to keep the price flat. That's why we don't like inflation. That's why we don't like money printing, because it causes debasement, which is inflation, which means you lose purchasing power. And that's why we love Bitcoin, because it's so hard. So, Dushi, hard to say exactly when that's going to happen, but we'll monitor it carefully, but it is very, very low. And remember, the Solana ecosystem is exploding. Think of Phantom Wallet. It's now worth 1.2 billion. They only launched 6 months ago, 7 months ago. they have nearly as many wallets as Cardano, just in a very short amount of time. So it's important to look at. razelnutsofficial, 1 share of Google or 6 shares of MicroStrategy? 6 shares of MicroStrategy on the 24th of January at $330. Yes. Google is a long-term stable play that will just go up 40, 50% a year for a long time based on earnings. If you guys want me to do one of my modeling like I did last week in Amazon for Google, things like Square, let me know. I will do whatever you want next. If I get more Squares or more Googles, I'll do it. But it's hard to say. Right now, Google actually got real cheap. I did say I will buy if I get down around 2750. My previous buy level was 2400, so it's getting cheaper. It was beaten down a lot today, so I'm nearly about to go in and get some more, and I have a lot already. So that's what I'd say. Just time it carefully, split the difference, but remember, Bitcoin is going to outperform Google, no doubt in my mind, over the next 3 to 5 years. But Google will do very well. But there's no downside for Google. There's a lot of volatility with Bitcoin. It's good to have like a mix of things. Ryan Eakin, when you evaluate a token, how are you able to so quickly determine its inflationary issues? I've always wondered what you look at to determine that. So we have a thing called the Crypto Compendium. It analyzes the top 300 cryptos, and we have models that calculate the inflation based on supply, inflation rate, tokenomics, white papers, and that's how we do it so fast. So we have the exact numbers, and we update it regularly. In fact, the Crypto Compendium is going through a big refresh because we're going to do the MVP, which is the Metaverse Plays, Metaverse Profiler, I should say. Like we had the SCP, which is a smart contract profiler. So we're going to be building that out. That's how. JG, what are your thoughts on Oasis Network Rose? They're a smart contract platform, agreed with some sort of TBD partnership with Meta Facebook, and recently obtained 200 million in VC funding. I looked at them. I don't like the tokenomics, and I don't like the fact that they are kind of very late to the game. So from that perspective, and they're also a little bit too small right now. I was asked a couple of times about Rose before, had a look at it twice, 3 times. It doesn't even figure in the top 20 SCPs, but it could. Maybe there's a chance it could come out to be something like a Phantom, which came out of obscurity real fast, also VC funded, and 200 million bucks is a lot of money. Not like 450 million with Polygon, but now that you mentioned that, the only thing I don't like is partnering with a dead company like Facebook. That's a ding for me. Why partner with them? It's like saying, oh, I just did a partnership. There's some blockchain last year. They did a partnership with PG&E, which is one of the most backdated utilities on Earth that just likes to trigger forest fires all over the place all the time. When I hear that type of stuff, I was like, it gets nixed out of the gate. But Jay, for you, because you're up in Canada, I will have another look. So I'll mention it during the week after we analyze it one more time. Trust no one. SLG G as a metaverse play. I don't even know what that is. So I do not spend all of my life in the metaverse. Or is it a stock? I don't know if it's a stock or, remember, Super League Gaming. It's a stock. I'll have a look. It's just what you got to be careful, everybody, as well. It's like NFTs, metaverse. It's sexy. Sometimes companies just rebrand themselves to jump on the bandwagon to get more valuation, like the gasp of desperation from Facebook to rebrand themselves as Meta because they knew their business is falling apart. Nobody uses Facebook anymore. So be careful of things that just take a traditional business and pivot them. It looks like SLG G does that. Super League Gaming. I'll have another quick look later, but probably not. Remember, we are going to come out with this MVP. We're going to look at the winner by category based on our quant models, and we'll see what we come up with. But I think I have a funny feeling what the best game is already, the best real estate place. But the evaluations are also insane, so be very, very careful out there. Oakland Raider Trucker, hello. Finally got first full ETH coin. Bought BCVault for storage, used crypto.com to exchange, and bought ETH in the future. When I want to cash out, do I have to pull ETH out of cold storage and back onto exchange to withdraw funds? Yes, you do. You do indeed. But congrats on your first purchase. Be careful. There's a lot of unknowns with Ethereum, but I still am very confident it could do very well as per my video yesterday, especially as it goes deflationary. And keep your vault very safe as well. So hang on to that. Get a little home safe, bolt it to the floor, lock it down, hide it away, and be safe out there. Bat Pangolin, how are you, buddy? If the CPI number is above 8%, will the Fed raise 50 points instead of 25? So first of all, I think it's going to be around 7.3, max 7.5. The wild card is energy, but they normally exclude the price of oil. I think from one of the numbers that they put together, oil is shooting to $120 a barrel. But inflation is transitory. It's such a laugh. But the fact that oil is getting so expensive and ice manufacturers like Ford have to shut down their factories because they can't get semiconductors. All roads now lead to electric vehicles, which means it's good for Tesla. But we'll see. I don't think we'll see 8% at all. 7.3, 7.5 max is what I expect. And I think 50 basis points is also factored in to a large extent. That's priced in right now for March. So if they raise 75 basis points, that would ding the stock market. If they raised 50 basis points, that would give the stock market a sigh of relief, and tech and disruption and risk on assets would go up. That's what I see. I don't think they're doing 25 basis points. And again, the Fed know that they can't kid themselves. They jack rates, they slow GDP, they kill employment. They can't afford to do that. They box themselves in. They're stuck. Talk about a tightrope. I wouldn't want his job. But apparently, Jerome Powell has been trading very well for his own account over the last 5 years. So it's good to be in the office to get access to inside information. So good one, JP. I don't know if that's true news or not, but I saw it flying around today. James Thompson, thoughts on Synthetics crypto companion on it. I don't like it. We analyzed it last year. We didn't like it, and I'm pretty sure we still don't. Let me have a quick look, see if anything has changed. There's so many good quality safe names out there that why would, let me see. Here it is. Sorry. And when yeah. No. Yeah, the chart's just horrible as well. Down 71% in a year. Yeah, just, stick with the winning stuff. Have very few names. Don't get enamored by things like this. Synthetics, when we analyzed it last, we didn't like it, and we still don't. It's a very heavily traded token, but not a good name. Nothing we touch. It also didn't score well on the crypto compendium, which I just looked at. Ashley Mallory, what is your philosophy on using stop loss? So I use them. In crypto, you can't because of the volatility. You just get wicked out. So it's very dangerous to do. In equities, I use them a lot. If I'm in a position, I like things like trailing stop losses, so to lock in profits. I didn't do a good enough job last year because I was so busy with stuff. This year, I promise to be much more aggressive on taking profits. And but yeah, it's a very good thing to do in equities. When you're playing options, though, same thing. You place a stop loss, you're going to get wicked out because some market maker will put in this weird order and just grab you out. So the best thing to do if you are trading options with stop losses or crypto, have that mental block in your head. It's like, how much pain can you take? So for example, you buy something at $100. If it goes to 80, reassess your thesis. And if it goes 10 points more down to 70, think about getting out. If you have a really good thesis and you think it's a long-term game of the future and your cost basis is really low where you're still making money, then maybe stay in the game. And a good example of that is things like, Solana, buying it at $8 and then buying it at $20 and having a low cost basis and then layering in all the way up. And then it goes to 250 and it falls all the way down to 83. That's just one of those things. But to have that type of dedication and commitment to something like ETH, etc. I didn't sell ETH at the top because I think it's going to go a lot higher. Also, taxes. Take into account taxes. Again, my activity would be very different if I didn't pay taxes, especially short-term capital gains, which are very expensive. So that's my philosophy. But have that mental thing. Build what I do as well in TradingView. I put trade alerts down at my floor levels or beneath them per fib levels, and use that as a tool so the TradingView will alert you. And just be very strong. If the chart looks like it is in a downtrend and going to continue weaker, odds are it will. If it's a losing name, they'll eventually just all go. Like talk about ICP from the very beginning there. It's down 98% in less than a year. Stunning loss. And sadly, I know people that held it all the way down. So that's my philosophy on stop losses. But keep it mental and create that threshold of pain in your head. How much would you take? Because odds are, I've learned from experience, if things are on a downward trend, they will continue downward. And if you're backing the wrong horse that doesn't have good fundamentals, get out sooner than later. That's what I recommend. And a big thank you for donation as well. MT, please continue to give us the whole difficult truth. We love you, James. I will. I had a lot of comments about that comment yesterday, and not touching on political hot potatoes. And we make decisions here based on data. That's it. Nothing else. I learned a long time ago, it's important to separate all noise, all emotion from investing and rely on models because they always tell the truth and they show you where the value is. So I think I will continue to speak my mind and screw the 1%. So St. Jude Needles, thank you so much as well. Jack Anasis, thank you. Chiku, Russell Sarder, new names, Breakbeat Stew, good to see you again. Rambling Roy, Trish Hill, Crypto Construction, No Primary, Ozma, GT350, Jeff Hammer, Game Freedom, Tunas on Toast, Tuesday's Dragonfire. Big thank you, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. It's Octa Tuesday. And I'll give a feel for exactly what I see. Is this a short-term, medium-term top or bottom? Well, the odds of us going higher versus lower, and we'll see. But so far, things are looking pretty good. Take care, everybody. Thank you.